Well, the Giants have admitted finally that they've basically been a complete dumpster fire for the last 3 seasons. Probably longer at that, but we'll take the 3 seasons. Says they're sticking with Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones at quarterback. But could there possibly be a trade with new head coach, new GM in the building? I'm going to break down everything going on with the story as well as give you my 2 cents on the whole situation. But if you could first, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you get these daily update videos. Share this video with your friends. It really, really helps the channel out a lot. We are growing like crazy. All right, so Giants co-owner John Mara opened up some talking points today, I guess, said they're sticking with Daniel Jones at quarterback, basically saying we've done everything to screw up this kid. And you can't be wrong about that. The Giants have been an absolute dumpster fire the last 3 years, 6 years really. They've been firing a head coach every 2 years. It's been a complete disaster. They've drafted poorly. They've put this team together, and they've been awful. But they still think Daniel Jones can play. Daniel Jones has had a lot of pressure on him, and he hasn't lived up to the hype. He was the number 6 overall pick in 2019. A lot of people thought that was a big reach, myself included. Kind of a meh career out of Duke. Duke, not a traditional football powerhouse, but we've seen quarterbacks come from non-traditional powerhouses before. But still, Duke, ACC, I mean, maybe he's a really smart guy you would expect coming to Duke, but he's really, really struggled as the Giants quarterback. I mean, let's just look at the stats here. I mean, the stats tell it all. He's 12-25 as the starting quarterback. Now, was that all on him? Maybe a little bit, maybe not. The Giants have been really, really bad. Still young, still only 24 years old. 45 touchdowns, 29 interceptions. You're like, okay, that's not really bad. But the really, really bad stat here is 36 fumbles. So, Jesus, that puts him at over 60 turnovers and 45 touchdowns. You can't have that. That's just terrible. That's really, really bad. So this is on him. They still believe in him. I don't know how many quarterbacks at 12-25 are getting more opportunities to play, but co-owner John Mara's sticking to him. They're saying they've been changing offensive coordinators. The offensive line has been terrible. They have the worst offensive line in the league. They don't have professional players on that offensive line. And they said they're going to take some time to make an evaluation. Now, GM Joe Schoen, the new GM, talked about how they're going to build around Daniel Jones at quarterback this year. They have the 5th and 7th pick. Now, you can draft a couple of offensive linemen with these picks. Maybe help some defense. Defense isn't the worst on this team. Offense is pretty horrible. Kenny Golladay is your most reliable receiver, and he's bad. He's been hurt. He hasn't been good this year. So they have some work. Saquon Barkley obviously not lived up to his hype as the 2nd overall pick. They have some work to do. The Giants. Now, could they draft a quarterback with one of those picks at 5 and 7? That would be the end of the Daniel Jones era. I mean, I could see it. New GM, new head coach. They want their guy. Don't know who their head coach is going to be yet. Leaning towards Brian Dable, the Bills offensive coordinator. So he has say, I mean, look what he did with Josh Allen. Daniel Jones, a similar build type to Josh Allen. Not near as talented, but a guy who can run, guy who's mobile, can throw the ball a little bit. So it's a similar scheme style fit right there. I'd get that one. No problem there. But could they be possibly making a trade for another quarterback out there? Deshaun Watson, maybe? No. John Mara shut that down real quick. They're not going after Deshaun Watson. He said, we're not trading for him, even though they've been linked to him. Deshaun Watson obviously has a cavalcade of issues behind him. 22 sexual assault allegations, criminal proceedings. We don't know what the Deshaun Watson situation is going to be. But when Deshaun Watson's on the field, he's great. He's a top 10 quarterback. He's a game changer. Elevated that Houston Texans franchise, obviously, to the playoffs. I mean, shit, they were up 24-0 on the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round, and then it all fell apart for them. So Deshaun Watson is a massive talent. We just don't know what it is. Really wish this would have been settled by the NFL earlier this season. You know, he didn't play the entire season for the Texans. Just suspend him for this year. Call it the year served. Now it really drags things out. Teams aren't confident in trading for him, saying, oh, we're not going to get him. I don't think anything's going to come of the criminal proceedings. There's civil issues that are bound to be had. There's plenty of stuff there. Criminal stuff going to be a lot harder to prove. It's been a long time coming, but still, could have just got this over with so teams could be more sure about what Deshaun Watson's status is. Really hurts to think. Russell Wilson is a big talking point, man. He wants to play in New York. Saints just lost their head coach. He ain't want to go to New Orleans. There's very limited spots where Russell could go. I don't know if the Seahawks are going to trade him in the conference to New York, but I could see it, man. You got picks 5 and 7. Why don't you ship Daniel Jones and both those picks for Russell? Call it square. Maybe ship one of the 2 picks this year and a pick next year. Seahawks do not have a first-round pick this year. They gave it to the Jets for Jamal Adams. So this could be a really good trade for the Giants to do, looking at Russell Wilson. Now, I'm taking Russell Wilson at a second, but they need to draft an offensive lineman. They need offensive line help. It's terrible. You could get an elite tackle, an elite center guard at picks 5 and 7 for the Giants. So maybe you do stick with Daniel Jones. He does show potential sometimes. He's a good athlete, but the turnovers have been better. He did have a neck injury to miss the end of this season, which was really, really bad. You don't like guys with neck injuries. Neck injuries are kind of a fiddly thing. You never know when they're going to act up. Peyton Manning had the neck fusion. He's a little bit older, a little bit different of an injury. But it ended up, costing him some longevity down the end. He could not move his body by the end of it, Peyton Manning, because his neck was stuck together. But we'll see. The Giants are sticking with Daniel Jones for now. Don't know if it's the smartest move, but then again, the Giants have been known as the smartest franchise the last 6 years. Again, 3 head coaches in 6 years. Really, really bad stuff. Dumpster fire stuff. This team won a Super Bowl just 10 years ago. I know, 10 years feels like forever. Had a franchise quarterback forever in Eli Manning. They need some stability. Hopefully they have the right GM. Hopefully they have the right coach. Got to figure out that quarterback situation. As you see, you cannot win in this league without a quarterback. Let me know what you guys think. Should they move on from Daniel Jones? Should they trade for Russell Wilson? Obviously, if they can get him for a good price, trade for Russell Wilson. Deshaun Watson, should they consider him? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you all tomorrow.